Hey there everybody, this is Zovio. I'm gonna have to be talking very quickly during this entire video because we have a very large update for me to talk about right here. And this is probably not the best time for me to be talking very quickly because I just had surgery on my mouth and that's okay. So right now what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be going through some of the items. I don't have all of the items that were changed in the update, but I'm gonna be talking about, most of them, and if I don't have them then I'll show you the stats in the crafting menu. So first up, the Scout with the Ringer. The Winger, yes. It's still 5 shots. They each do slightly more than normal damage. Except now, see, that's the normal jump height. You jump farther with it out. So this gives it a lot of synergy with the Atomizer, another weapon in its set. That's a really nice thing. I like the fact that Valve did that. So that's a rather nice change. But another thing that changed was the shortstop. The shortstop now has a nerf on it. So, well, it has a nerf and a buff on it, and you see now there's a 20% increase in healing while the weapon is out, but you take more knockback from weapons. This was a sort of give and take thing Valve did because they removed all of the set bonuses, and for all of them except for the medics, which makes me really mad. They buffed one of the items in the set to compensate for this. The shortstop, now instead of you having extra health, you get bonus healing while the weapon is out. That's a nice thing. I like that change. Okay, the shortstop, I never really saw it as particularly broken unless it was used with the entire set, in which case the Scout was able to survive things that he normally wouldn't be able to, but yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop talking about the Scout right now. Up next is gonna be the Soldier. The Soldier has several changes, though I'm going to be talking about right now. The first off is the Battalion's Backup. You see, the Battalion's Backup used to charge through damage you take, and that was a problem. Next to nobody used it because, well, no, like, who's going to be taking almost 400 amount of damage in one life unless you're a pocket soldier, and if you're a pocket soldier, you're going to be using the shotgun or buff banner anyway, so that doesn't really matter. So now, instead of what it normally did, which was you had to almost die twice in order to take damage, or in order to fill the charge, well, now you can just deal the same amount of damage. I believe it's about 475 or so amount of damage you have to deal in one life for it to be a full charge. I'm gonna set up a sentry right here. We got the sentry set up. So I set this up. So as you can see, it's a noticeable less amount of damage from sentries. It's half damage taken from sentries. That is a nice thing. I like that. Yeah, it's 35% less damage taken from everything else, half damage taken from sentries. That's nice. Okay, this weapon is now viable. I like that. That's enough about that. Up next is the escape plan. The escape plan got a nerf now, similar to the Heavy's Gloves of Running Urgently. Sorry about that, everybody. I accidentally hit the Alt and Tab key, and then I went back to the, desktop screen. So, the escape plan, very quickly, you take mini crits while it's out, and for half a second while it's put away. Well, for a while after it's put away. Everybody was saying half a second, well, I'm pretty sure that's closer to a full second and a half, maybe even 2 seconds. Personally, I don't really care about this nerf all that much because, the only time I'd use the escape plan is if my health was so low already that a mini crit wouldn't really affect all that much, except the fact that now people can damage me from farther away. So I suppose this is a pretty effective nerf. Now I'll have more of a reason to use things like the Mark Gardner and Pain Train and Disciplinary Action instead of the escape plan. Perhaps I'll be able to use those in a competitive environment and still be viable. So that's nice. Not really many of Soldier's items were changed. The Liberty Launcher now got changed also. So here we go. Here's the crafting menu because I don't have the Liberty Launcher because I destroyed it all. So now instead of having a less of a clip penalty, it has less. Alright, instead of having a clip penalty, it has a damage penalty. It was useless to me before. It's useless to me now because I can hit my regular rockets just fine. I don't need the projectile speed bonus. Yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, that's a change. I don't really care either way. I think it's actually worse now than it was before. yeah, that's just me. I don't think the reserve shooter was changed. No. Or the market gardener. No. Or the man-treads. No. Or disciplinary action. No. Okay, so nothing really was changed for soldier apart from those. I think there's probably like one item I don't have that was changed, and I didn't notice the change. But, you know, apart from that, it's time to talk about Pyro. You see, Pyro had a set from before. It was the gas jockey. I used this set because it let Pyro move faster. It was a good balancing thing. You see, Pyro in high-level environments is much weaker than the other mercenaries, because even in Pyro's close-range specialty area, you know, the other combat-based mercenaries are able to outdamage the Pyro, leaving the Pyro to be more of a defensive role overall. With the gas jockey set, the Pyro was able to move faster, and the only thing people were asking for this was to put the 10% bonus instead on stock Pyro instead of the set. So, instead of having degreaser and extinguisher at 110% speed, it would be stock flamethrower at 110% speed. Degreaser would have minus 9% speed downside added to it, so it wouldn't change at all, but the gas jockey set bonus would still be there. So it was only there to stop people from using degreaser plus extinguisher as a set. I never really used degreaser plus extinguisher because I mostly use the shotgun when I'm a pyro. But anyway, see now the set has changed a lot. Now instead of giving you just a flat-out speed boost in exchange for a slight damage, you know, from bullets increase, there's no bots out here, that's weird. Now you move faster with the weapon out, but you take more damage from everything while it's out. So it's sort of a balancing thing. I don't like this. I think that this is sort of a nerf to Pyro as a whole, because now Pyros can't, you know, attack people quickly unless they have a melee out. I don't like it. I mean, oh, that's the problem. So, now let's see. So, you know, Pyro, it used to be a pretty strong, reliable set, but now it's sort of weak. I'm not sure how much the damage penalty is gonna matter. Oh no, I'm gonna switch out. Okay, so yeah, it is noticeable. It's more than I'd normally take from syringe guns, but you know, yeah, that's a lot of damage. It's not as game-breaking as a lot of people seem to think. Still, this is a nerf to Pyro that really shouldn't be there. I don't like it really at all. Yeah, I think that they should have instead just given Pyro a flat-out speed boost, but then give the speed penalty to the degreaser, so degreaser doesn't change at all. That's just me. Let's go on over to the Demoman. The Demoman had a loose cannon change. I actually know the guy who was on the official Steam forums constantly saying that the change should be something like this. Yeah, the Scottish Resistance, he also came up with a really good way to fix that, so it's not as, you know, weak and underpowered. Because even though it does look like it's a straight upgrade from the stat screen, that, you know, 0.8 second longer bomb arm time is really noticeable, and it completely screws over people in competitive. But this topic's not going to be about that. It's not going to be about how Valve could have easily fixed that. It's going to be about the loose cannon. You see, it's the fuse time is halved, so yeah, it's really awkward for me to fire with it. But for the people who, you know, already trained to use it, I don't play with the loose cannon much anymore. See, there's a loose cannon basically got pure buffed. Okay, I don't really use it, so I'm not going to be very good with it. But yeah, you can basically one-shot people, do about more than 200 damage by hitting people and then having it detonate near them. I can't really do that very reliably. I'm sure that if I practiced I could. But yeah, apart from that, it basically got a pure damage buff because now it mini crits anybody it hit before if it detonates while in midair. I'm just gonna run at people because I have the survival thing on for the TR walkway. So yeah, it's basically stronger than the grenade launcher once you learn how to use it. I still don't like how the charge bar is on the bottom right of the screen, because especially now that it charges really quickly, because then I have to look down while still aiming, and I just don't like that. But apart from that, you know, it's basically stronger than it was before. Before it was weaker than stock, so I suppose it's sort of balanced now. It's probably going to be used a lot more in competitive, assuming it's not banned. That's just my, you know, my opinion. Also the opinion of all the demo mains I've talked to about it. Okay, so moving on to the heavy. I don't care about the heavy, but yeah. See, I don't have any of his items that got changed, so I'm going to have to go through the crafting menu for all of them. Well, I suppose the biggest one is the buffalo steak sandwich. Now, instead of taking mini crits after you've eaten the steak, instead the damage is just increased by 25%. At first, this may seem like there's little to no difference. You just take slightly less damage. But in fact, mini crits also take out fall-off damage. You know how the farther away you attack somebody, the less damage you do, the closer you are up to them. I mean, unless you're sniper, the more damage you do. That's ramp up and fall down, or fall off. Yeah, the mini crits and crits completely remove fall-off damage. So, yeah, somebody could just snipe you from across the map with the pistol, and you take a ton of damage, no matter how far away they are. Now it's just the damage is just increased slightly. Yeah, that's sort of it. I'm pretty sure that's the only one of Heavy's weapons that got changed that I actually care about at all. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only change it got for some reason. I was hoping that Valve would have released a projectile-based minigun, but yeah, I suppose not. So moving on up next to the Engineer. The Engineer has some very interesting changes. Let's see, what's my loadout? Pistol, now I'm going to be using the Wrangler for this, because there's currently a glitch that makes the Wrangler stronger than it was before, and I feel the need to explain that. First up, I'm going to be talking about the Gunslinger. The Gunslinger, as you can see, I'm building a dispenser right here. The dispenser, slowly regenerating health. Okay. Yep. The Gunslinger, on the other hand, it starts off with full health. Everybody already knows this. It does that. It's always done that. Well, now the Gunslinger, or the Mini Sentry, if it takes damage while building, it doesn't regenerate its health incredibly quickly. So now it is possible to destroy the Mini Sentry while it is building. Even if you're a Scout or a Pyro or another class that would normally be unable to do that, because the Mini Sentry no longer constantly regenerates health. So that's a nice thing. You know, it's no longer as spammable as it was before. It's a nice thing that raises the skill indexing of the weapon. You can no longer just spam it everywhere. You now have to plan out where it is, because while it's building, it is very vulnerable. But I don't know why I destroyed it there. So that's a rather nice change. This other change is about the Wrangler. You see, the Wrangler, I'm sure if you've ever played against the Wrangler before, you'll know just how annoying this is. You see, when you switch away, this didn't get changed at all. The Sentry stays down for 3 seconds, and the shield stays up. Well, some people are saying that this is a bit unfair, because say that you kill the Engineer, and the Sentry's in down mode, or offline mode, it shouldn't keep the shield up. So Valve said, okay, so now the shield's only going to be staying up with the Sentry down for 1 second if the Engineer dies. So, 1 second, and then the shield goes away in offline mode. So you see, this is 3 seconds, because I switched away from it. But if I die with the Wrangler out, 1 second, and it goes back to online. That's a buff. Because, see, before you'd have 3 seconds to deal 650 damage to the Sentry. Well, yeah, 650 damage to a level 3 Sentry. This is a Mini Sentry, so you'd have 3 seconds to do 300 damage, which any class can do. That's a buff, because now the Sentry is going to be able to attack people who are destroying it. This is in fact just a glitch. Valve is aware of this. A whole bunch of people have already sent emails about it. But until it's fixed, consider the Wrangler buffed by this update for balance. Yes, I said that seriously. That's a big problem. But, you know, apart from that, I'm pretty sure none other... Oh yeah, also, The short circuit was changed. Now, instead of costing 35 ammo, it costs 36. And you might be thinking, wait, the short circuit doesn't need to be nerfed. It was balanced. Or underpowered. Some people are saying it's underpowered. It was balanced before. It doesn't really need that. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the classes all to soldier. Switch on over to bots attack constantly. It was already on that. And then I'm going to destroy some projectiles, and you'll see that it in fact costs 18 if you destroy a projectile with it. So this lets you destroy more projectiles. It increases the skill indexing of the weapon. That's nice. That's something I support. You know, especially for a class like engineer, increasing the skill indexing of the weapon. So now it's more usable. Just destroying stuff with this. So yeah, other than that, engineers' weapons have remained mostly untouched. A lot of people were hoping for, you know, more extreme changes, but personally I'm happy with this. I mean, normally I use Widowmaker pistol and or Widowmaker pistol gunslinger. That's my usual loadout. I'm not really affected here because I don't spam mini sentries. I ambush people with them by placing them in places people don't expect, all that other good stuff. But, you know, I'm pretty sure none other of the engineers' weapons got changed. Oh yeah, there was a change on the Rescue Ranger. I don't remember what it was. I believe you now heal more. Oh, I now remember. The Rescue Ranger, yeah, saw it for that wascally wabbit. Now deals increased damage. It now deals 50, 40-ish damage. So it's no longer as embarrassing to fight with as before. And it also repairs buildings faster. I don't know, I considered it to be perfectly viable before. I don't think it needed to be buffed, but hey, that's just me. That's just me. You know, take it with a grain of salt. Also, oh yeah, never mind. For a second I thought you had a full clip of 6 on this, but it turns out that was just the TR walkway thing going nuts for a second. So, yeah, that's Engineer down. Now to talk about the more difficult one, Medic. You see, Medic had a weird change involving a lot of things. He's Quick Fix and Vaccinator. I don't have the Vaccinator, so I'm just going to explain it to you. Okay, so you see the crossbow. That looks a lot slower of a reload speed, but it's actually the same speed, or if that makes sense. The animation is slower. Because before there was about half a second on the reload animation where the crossbow wasn't doing anything and you've already reloaded, but it didn't count as reloading. So now they just slowed it down and had it actually reload properly. But, you know, that's not really a problem. They also had a really cool particle effect on it. That's a bunch of plus signs, so I like that. Ooh, I fell. And it now fires giant syringes instead of arrows. That's another thing I like. But, okay, the problem I have with the changes Medic had is the Medieval Medic set. You see, before the Medieval Medic set was considered a perfectly balanced side grade to stock, apart from the Bone Saw, because the Bone Saw is useless, stock being Uber Saw instead of Bone Saw, because you're trading your ability to defend yourself with the Syringe Gun and Uber Saw in exchange for the utility of long-range heals and group heals. The problem with this is that Valve was saying, you know, a lot of medics are using this set because it's focusing on utility, so they got rid of the bonus, and unlike everything else, they didn't buff anything in the set to make up for it. Like, unlike, say, the Winger, or the shortstop, which I explained before, you get increased heals now instead of increased health. The crossbow is in fact just nerfed from before. Now, yes, the crossbow was actually nerfed. It wasn't the reload speed. It was in fact if a soldier was holding out the escape plan or equalizer, you used to be able to heal them with the crossbow. Now you can't. See, doesn't really affect me because I don't really. Yeah, if they're not able to put away their pickaxe for half a second, I wouldn't have been able to heal them anyway. Let's see, where was I? So, see, how should I put this? Well, you see, the reload speed is the same as normal, unless you switch weapons before it's reloaded. So I switched weapons, or I fire, switch weapons before it's reloaded, and then I switch back. For some reason... Oh yeah, that's... Sorry everybody, that's just a problem with the TR walkway thing. I'll just turn that off. Constant resupply off. So now I go out here, shoot somebody, switch over. It waits almost a second before it actually reloads again. This may just be a glitch because it's two animations going side by side. It's just messing up the, it's just messing up the wait period before you can do anything with the crossbow. I don't like it because now that this is a lot slower than it normally is to reload. Yeah, I don't like that. So overall, the crossbow got nerfed, and the medieval medic set got nerfed, but on the plus side, the quick fix and vaccinator got buffed, which is a good thing. So I'm gonna activate the sentry room. I'm gonna explain. It's going to explain the quick fixes thing here. The quick fix now has 125% like overheal rate, 125% of the regular overheal. So instead of 1.5 times people's health, it's just 1.25 times people's health. So this is a nice thing. It makes the quick fix better, but not as good as, you know, the Medigun or Kritzkrieg. Yeah, that's a nice thing. Also, during this means that Medic himself is overhealed to 185, I believe, or something like that, while he's Ubered. So, say that you Uber somebody with the quick fix, you yourself are overhealed. So now a quick scope headshot doesn't kill you. So that's a nice thing. I'm going to be talking next about Sniper. Sniper, his Crocodile kit set bonus has been removed. Instead of you being unable to be killed by headshots, and now the Darwin's Danger Shield, which was a part of the set, allows you to survive one headshot with a bit of health left. It's kind of difficult to explain, but you see now you take a lot, like really noticeably more amount of damage from explosive weapons. So if a soldier bombs you in, or bombs in on you, you're much more in danger, but you're able to survive a single quickscope headshot so long as they don't, so long as they don't charge it up and headshot you. So personally, I think that's probably the best they could have done given their situation. If they gave the no headshot thing to the Sydney Sleeper, then you'd be able to resist headshots and backstabs with the Razorback, which I don't have. If they just gave it to the Darwin's Danger Shield, you can't die by headshots, then you'd be able to headshot people and not be headshot, which is a problem. And if they gave it to Bushwhacker, then there'd be every single sniper out there would be immune to headshots. So that's a problem. Because, I'm like the only person out there who doesn't use the Bushwhacker. I use the Freedom Staff. Because that's what I use. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So Sniper was changed by that. Not sure if there was any other change. I'm not sure if the Bushwhacker was changed. I'm going to go check. That's another problem with putting the Sydney Sleepers, giving the Sydney Sleeper the immunity to headshots thing. You see, the way it worked was if you had more than 1 HP, then you wouldn't die to a headshot. Well, in that case, a Sydney Sleeper plus Cozy Camper combo where you're constantly regenerating health would render you immune to headshots constantly because you're regenerating health per second. So, yeah, that'd be a bit of a problem. Snipers that can't be sniped, that'd be kind of a big problem. So, yeah, overall, pretty good choice. I'm pretty sure the Bushwhacker wasn't changed. I can't find it in here, so I'm assuming it wasn't. Oh, here it is. Nope, it's the same. So, yeah, everybody's going to continue to use it. I won't. End of story. Moving on to the Spy. The Spy has an interesting change with the, that's the Invisible Watch. That's the watch I actually use. Here's the Dead Ringer. As you see, the Dead Ringer, now, it's different the way the, resistance works. Because now, it used to be, you'd be essentially immune to everything for, the entire cloak period. But now, the amount of cloak you have left affects the amount of damage you take. Pyros just instantly Pyros do a ton of damage to you, just demolish you. You don't take crits from it, that's a random crit because I forgot to turn those off. But yeah, Pyros go right through your shield, it's a nice thing. So, let's see. I'm not really 100% certain about how this mechanic works. See, I take a slight bit of damage, it's 90% resistance, take a bit of damage, and you see my cloak just went really quickly down because of all the damage I was taking. Yes, and the more damage you take, the less cloak you have, which, at least that's what the patch notes was saying. It's a nice thing, so now you don't have to chase the spy around for 5 seconds constantly. That's nice. Yeah. Personally, I like this change. It's pretty good. You know, I think that's the only change Spy got, actually, which was weird, because the Spicicle and the Enforcer and the Red Tape Record... Actually, I'm not sure if any of those were changed. I didn't really see any, but they might have been ones that my eyes just glazed over. But apart from that, so you can see there's a whole bunch of balance changes in Team Fortress 2, a lot of them for the better, some of them for the worse. Pyros are now not as viable as they were in competitive, which is the exact opposite of what all the Pyros were wanting. My name's been Zovia, hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment, favorite, share, all the other good things in life, like rainbows and various other nice things. If you like my the way I do videos, subscribe. Now I usually do you know, things that belong in competitive Team Fortress 2. Well, that was more impressive than I normally am. You know, I do demos of competitive matches that I was in, things like that.